Oh my goodness.
The one of one is missing.
I knew something was up.
Pop, that's almost twice as much going for the same price.
I just freaking love that rated rookie logo.
Doing more buying.
Which one of these 5 quarterbacks has the worst set of pass catchers to throw the football to?
Guess how much I sniped this for an auction?
Number to 5, you dirty animal.
I'm telling you, these optic on-card autos are money.
Yes, sir. Football cards collecting and investing. Are you freaking kidding me? We're really leading off the show with a defensive player, Cooper DeJean. What in the world is happening? You showed me a one of one sold for $6,000 for a rookie nickel. Are you kidding me, Andy?
Yes, sir. Yep. Hot off the Super Bowl victory by the Philadelphia Eagles. Cooper DeJean is one of the hottest names in the hobby right now. And his high-end stuff, like you can see here, this is actually January 20th.
Wow.
That someone spent $6,000 in a buy it now on his one of one. But you just look at his highest transactions in the past 90 days. A lot of them are here following the Super Bowl. I mean, look at his college uniform, flawless one-of-one rookie patch auto that sold for $1,150 in a buy it now yesterday, Carter.
Wow. He was phenomenal. And I do like that there are some defensive players getting some love. Obviously, Jaylen Carter is more than likely going to be like a Micah Parsons type of player. You know, everyone knows he is just that guy. But the guy that I wanted to ask you about, Andy, is the man that we have long made money off of, and that is your buddy, Jaylen freaking Hurts.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, he's gone up a lot. You know what's funny is that if you look at the volume sold data here on our web app, slabhawk.com, Jaylen Hurts, in the past 48 hours, 4,046 eBay buy it now solds. That's 3 times as many as Jayden Daniels at 1,500. Now, granted, Jaylen Hurts prices are a lot lower comparatively than Jayden Daniels, but he's also got a lot more cards out there in the market. Jayden's market's about to blow up. We'll talk about that here in a little bit, but just looking at the Jaylen Hurts market, a lot of people have made money on various tiers of his cards. Like I look at this, a prime example of a mid-tier card here, a Green Prism BGS 9.5 that sold today in a buy now for $200. Well, I went back and did some digging. If you were buying into Jaylen Hurts at the end of November, beginning of December, could have got that Green Prism PSA 9, not quite a BGS 9.5, but for a quarter of the price of $46. And then if you look here, there's actually there's a couple more cards that I found. Oh, yeah, this Green Optic Velocity, which a lot of hobbyists like even more. I'd love to hear you guys take on this Green Prism, Green Optic Velocity, but this is also a PSA 9. That sold for $46. And once again, Carter, look at the date. Beginning of December here is when the best time to have bought into Jaylen Hurts. And if you had them listed and you had them ready to go for the Super Bowl, you made really, really good money on Jaylen Hurts.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, he's probably been your most profitable quarterback. I know you don't like to talk about, your own plays and all of that, but man, it's just amazing how solid he is. And it's important to note what really moves needles in the hobby are Super Bowls, right? It's just that simple. That is probably the single most important thing outside of your youth, right? You being a young player, right? That's, Mac Jones to Trey Lance all the way to someone that's actually good, like a Jayden Daniels or CJ Stroud. Outside of youth, which pumps up a lot of quarterbacks that just aren't that great, if you win Super Bowls, people start buying your cards.
Very true. And yeah, this data speaks for itself here. So I looked at another tier of Jaylen Hurts cards to see if the percentage increase carries over. And so let's take a look at this. This is his rookie ticket auto. We love this card because of that deep ticket theme. It's an iconic brand within the hobby. It also a lot of times features that on-card rookie auto, rookie card shield. Great card, right? So here, February 9th, this is 2 days ago. This is Sunday. Buy it now here, $450. And I got to think that was probably at night. We do have December 14th, an auction of $321 for Jaylen Hurts, that same exact card, rookie ticket auto. Of course, in raw cards, there's, you have to examine the pictures and see if there's any condition differences, nicks on the corners, the edges, the surface, all that kind of stuff. But not quite seeing the same
Right.
nice increase, but not the same like potentially triple up increase I saw on some of those other cards, like that green prism, for example.
Right. So, Andy, I'll tell you how I feel about Jaylen Hurts as a quarterback. He's fine, right? He's very solid in the side of the NFL that has weaker QBs, and he's around the best supporting cast in the NFL, and that was pretty clear by a long shot in this postseason with the best GM, one of the best coaches, one of the best defenses, one of the best offensive lines, one of the best receiver duos, one of the best running backs. And guess what? Hobbyists are still loving Jaylen Hurts, but him being in that spot was something that we always talked about, right? I remember a show 2 years ago where I was like, this Eagles team, I remember doing the show before the Super Bowl, they're going to come back to Super Bowls. And they did that. And guess what, Andy? Their team is still young. Their team is still very, very, very young. So the likelihood of them being back in the playoffs and back here next year is still pretty freaking high.
Yeah, and that's why we kept pushing Jaylen Hurts. And of course, I love to eat at my own restaurant, but I mean, it's because of the team environment. Team dynamics matter a lot within the hobby, and Jaylen Hurts definitely a prime example of that. Look at some of these high-end transactions, Carter, from Sunday of Jaylen Hurts. These are people buying in retrospectively here, reactively to the Super Bowl, February 9th transactions. These are his highest transactions in the past 90 days. This immaculate PSA 8 1-of-1 rookie patch auto here, $35,000 buy it now, $13,500 for his BGS 9. True RPA from National Treasures out of 10, $13,500. And then he had the next one was a December 9th transaction. So, but it was also an auction. But if you look at these, a lot of these are February 10th, February 9th transactions from the Super Bowl.
And he's got some absolutely filthy patches. You love to see it. So let's talk about 2024 Prism. And there you go, Jonathan. Good to see you. We also say hi to family Burliner, Tim, David. Everyone's in here. Gotta love it. Arturo says he pulled a red retail Prism of Drake May. He said the hardest part is holding on to this card until the National.
Well, make it easy for yourself and send it in and get it graded. There you go. Then you will have to hold on to it, because if that comes back a 10, you're holding on to a very premium asset. And Carter, I don't know if it's because you've been talking about Drake May so much, or people are definitely looking back and kind of looking at all the film studies that's coming out on these rookie quarterbacks. But Drake May's volume, his sold values have gone up for sure, man. There's already people buying in anticipation of the offseason hype increasing into September of next season. And that's the thing with all the information in the hobby now, we do start to see this offseason increase into the NFL draft happening sooner because of all the data at our fingertips.
One thing before we dive a little bit deeper into Prism, I wanted to get to this when I was putting together a prep list here. What do you think, Andy, is going to happen to Patrick Mahomes cards after such a disastrous Super Bowl? Do you think there's a chance that it goes down? Because Mahomes was kind of being looked at as like GOAT material, and Andy, as you know, GOAT cards are its own category, right? Messi cards are its own thing. They're not even really soccer cards. They're Messi cards. Jordan cards are definitely their own thing. There's NBA cards, and then there are Jordan cards. There's a belief that could happen with Patrick Mahomes, right? He did have a $4 million sale just a few years ago. So, what are your thoughts to the Mahomes market over not only now but over the next couple of months here?
Well, I think the high-end ones retain their value and they
Right.
flatline. I don't think they really move a whole lot. I think some of the lower end ones, some of the college uniform cards, like I'm going to pull up his market here on Slabhawk and talk about some of these college uniform classics, the base Panini, right? The score horizontal cards, all these cards that have gone up over the past 6 months and even more so over the past, 30 to 60 days have gone up quite a bit, as you can see all these positive trends. Obviously, his most iconic card is this silver prism, and in a PSA 10 condition, which is not easy to get, as you can see, 17% hit rate there. This card, I think, comes back down. I think these cards come back down on his base tier. Obviously, this is what I would call base premium tier here. And this card up to 6,500 most recently, and buy it now last week before the Super Bowl heading into it. I think this comes back down to like that $4,500 range, and it'll settle around that $4,000 to $4,500 range. I know a lot of people are talking about if this is the last Super Bowl that Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes win together. I definitely think they were exposed, but I don't think it's the last time that they're in the Super Bowl. But yeah, I think you got to be careful not to overreact here. Certainly, you could sell, but I think Patrick Mahomes is a great hold long term.
Yeah, and I go back to like cards like that don't have a serial number, and obviously pop of about 900 as you showed. Yeah, I could see that going down some, right? For a while when the market was really hot and we were in a Super Bowl, that card was in the 13, 14, 15K range. So
yeah, peak career value in the beginning, like hype bubble of the hobby. In 2021, 2022, that card got up to $12,000-$13,000 in that
right.
Super Bowl. Yeah.
So cards like that I normally stay away from, right? Is it rare? Yes, but still pop 900 is not like just something crazy rare, and it's not overly unique, right? Now, Raider Rookie's a little bit different because it's a little bit more in my range.
Yeah, well, and this is a base rated rookie, and this is not like Tom Brady's market. Tom Brady literally has only 132 different rookie cards. I believe it was 132, and it was somewhere around there. It's like in the 130, 150, and only a few of those in a pro uniform. So it's a very narrowed in market. And there's a lot of grade chasing there, and it's important to probably buy graded. Mahomes, it is important, I think, to buy graded as well, but he has a lot more rookie cards. He's got a couple thousand available rookie cards, different ones out there, a lot of pro uniform cards. So it's more of a modern market, it's more of an available market. And when you see this type of increase, like the base Donruss rated rookie PSA 10 from $930 back in December 17th to now $1,500, you could still get $1,500 for that card. That's a
Crazy.
really good flip if you had bought in November, December last year.
Now we get back into Prism. I
love Prism.
I am so excited to see what Jayden Daniels market is going to do. Obviously, it's going to be interesting because people spent so much money on CJ Stroud cards, and now those CJ bag holders feel a little strange. I think Jayden's better than CJ. Jayden's in the NFC. I understand he's in the same division as the Eagles, so there is a likelihood that you got to be a 5, 6, 7 seed to make a real run in the playoffs again. But I'm so fascinated to see what's going to happen as this product still, I'm going to use a big word, matriculates out into the public. And there you go.
Yeah, his raw silver prisms are where CJ Stroud's were after his rookie season. So about that $350 to $400 range. And so we're getting a lot of grading data coming back on Jayden Daniels' market. And right now, it has the appearance that his market has like a mid-level scarcity to it, but it's about to be blown out of the water because in just over a week, the 2024 tops sets are going to be released here. And that really blew CJ Stroud's market out of the water. And I think it's important. I personally, if we want to go ahead and dive into this, I would not be targeting those 2024 top sealed boxes because they still, I would not. You want to go ahead and dive into why I think that?
Yeah, no, yeah, go on ahead, baby.
Because looking at the product, right, it's still too expensive compared to what the singles sell for because of the lack of license, because of the lack of NFL licensing. So they do not have team logos and those team trademarks on the card. So go and look at what CJ Stroud Topps cards are selling for today. If you're chasing a silver or a pink or one of these card inserts out of this top set, go ahead. I mean, look at it. $5. I mean, CJ Stroud still got a lot of hype, still getting a lot of sold volume, but these cards are just worth, anywhere between $5 and $15 on average. Topps Finest refractor, $12. I mean, a lot of these refractors just are not getting the money that the Panini Prism that is officially licensed is, and you're paying $65 for like 42 cards, and you're looking for one Prism refractor out of the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? It just does not make sense at all. I would rather see you go and buy this 2024 Prism football retail box for 120 from Blowout Cards and chase the Jayden Daniels out of that, because if you hit one of those, and they're not like, you could hit a lot of other guys too. You could hit the Cooper DeJean, Silver Prism Auto or something out of there. There's a lot of people in there to chase from this class, and that is going to be hold way better value, especially mid and long term, than these Topps cards that are unlicensed.
Yeah, not only Cooper DeJean, but like Quinyon Mitchell cards are going to be in there. I mean, there's, the rookie class is just so freaking insane. This class. So I am definitely going to be buying some 2024 Prism Megas and just holding on to them. Now, Andy, I know everyone's going to say, well, what about the X-ray technology? I don't give a damn about that. Do you think everybody's walking around with an X-ray? Do you know how much a freaking X-ray is? Apparently everyone in the hobby's become Dr. House. What? You don't have a freaking X-ray. Get out of here.
And it's like a CT scanner, and they probably have to configure it a certain way. Right. And we went through it. It's not like 100% reliable. It's still gonna, I wouldn't worry about that too much.
Yeah. This is a good question from Jonathan. He says, is it worth grading a base rated rookie PSA 10? I think he meant to say grabbing a base rated rookie PSA 10 of every quarterback, just in case they become a Mahomes. I think Jonathan's talking about if Patrick Mahomes rated rookies are going for $1,500. I believe, Andy, I wasn't expecting this question, so I didn't research this beforehand. Mm-hmm. I think a Joe Burrow rated rookie PSA 10 is about $80-$90, I would guess. Because just to be clear, we were looking at the Mahomes base rated rookie card PSA 10 a minute ago for $1,500, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
I would guess Burrow's pop count is going to be way higher, so you do have to, factor that in. But, if Mahomes is going at around $1,500, I would guess you would feel a floor for that card would be like at the very bottom barrel, $700-$800, maybe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I guess if you believe in Joe Burrow like I do, it wouldn't be a bad idea to get one that's, I would guess it's probably, what? I don't know. I'm actually just trying to give it a best guess. I would guess Joe Burrow. Okay, yeah. I was right around there, around $70, $80 something dollars.
Yeah, optic. And for ultra modern, I'd try and get an optic if you could.
Right. So there you go, 96.
But yeah, here's your PSA 10 for your base Donruss, almost $50. That's kind of where this card has settled out at. Look at CJ Stroud optic PSA 10,
Okay.
37.50. His market has dipped, as you can see here,
Yes.
and you can get that card for just $5. But I will tell you that the base Donruss has a nice, especially on these ultra modern sets, has a nice conversion rate of raw to PSA 10. So
the thing I will be wondering is, man, I can't get over. Let's touch on this, and obviously this isn't football card, related so much, but the Josh Allen Lamar Jackson MVP debate. All right, who should have won the MVP in your mind? All right, let's do this in the chat. Type A for Allen. Type J, or actually that's a little confusing. Type L for Lamar. Type J for Josh. Who should have won MVP? L for Lamar, J for Josh. Comment down below as well. Who would you have selected?
Well, I would have selected Josh simply because even though Lamar, I think, had a better season, I simply would select Josh because they beat them in the playoffs. And I think that was kind of like, I don't know, me inferring, understanding who
Let me stop you real quick. It's a regular season award, and the voting was already done before.
Okay. So
I'm talking about actually winning this award. Okay.
Why do they announce it so late? I mean, if the voting was already done, how long does it take to count?
It's all part of Super Bowl week, NFL honors. So this is why they do it. All right. I went to Super Bowl week. All right. I was there for one of my companies I work for, Believe, and also for my YouTube channel. So you go to all these parties and all of it, and they do the NFL honors the Thursday before the Super Bowl. Part of why they do the honors the Thursday before the Super Bowl is so they can have those players down there to be at Radio Row, to actually go to the game, be at all these events. And it's just a good commercial thing. That's why they wait to do it. And it's leading up into the Super Bowl, and players are getting ready for the playoffs and that. So that's why they do it. But I agree with you. I honestly think Lamar should have won this one, but I think Josh should have won it the year before. I also didn't mind it going either or. Like, I don't think it was some huge disservice to Lamar Jackson that Josh freaking Allen won this award. And this is a memo because there was someone from the Quest that sent this to me. Have you seen this? There's this comparison of Josh Allen stats to freaking Aaron Rodgers. Have you seen this? Like, their passing stats are the exact same, omitting the rushing stats and omitting the fact that the Bills played in a lot of games where the other quarterback just stunk up the joint. So Josh Allen had like 100 yards passing. So Tua throws a game away. Well, if Tua throws a game away and there's pick sixes and all of that, well, the quarterback's not going to have a big game because it's just going to be handoffs, blowout, right? So it's important to actually watch the damn games, all right? I'm not going to say who sent it to me, but I've been a Josh Allen and Lamar defender on here. Their market is just so interesting, right? We talked earlier about Super Bowls mattering so freaking much to any quarterback's legacy. And there is a piece of me that says, look, I am happy that Josh Allen won this this MVP, because it was weird that he has been this prodigiously elite quarterback with, to me, and I'll say it, a bottom 5 head coach in the league. I think Sean McDermott sucks. I think he stinks. Capital S stinks. You saw the Chiefs, right? You got to beat these guys every now and then, right? This isn't are the Chiefs the standard in the NFL? Yeah, but they're not the '92 Dream Team. I mean, they aren't the three-peat Dallas Cowboy. I mean, not three-peat, but they're not Deion Sanders, Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman, Dallas Cowboys. I mean, they're not that. And I think that's held Josh Allen back, where Lamar, of course, has been a playoff choker. But you see, once again, Lamar below Josh.
Oh yeah, way below Josh here on pretty much every tier of his card: base optic, base rated rookie, prism, silver, rookie ticket autos. Yeah, he's a lot lower, but then you look at how much lower Baker Mayfield. Like if you were to add in Baker Mayfield, then you get a full picture of that draft class. And you can see, okay, well, obviously Lamar's still got a lot of merit and therefore value behind his cards. As Baker Mayfield, as you see, base rated rookie PSA 10, almost $50. Lamar 135, but Josh Allen 200. So, but that's been the chase as Lamar's been trying to get up there to those values of Josh Allen, hasn't been able to do it. I don't know that. Out of the AFC, these guys, I think I got to think that one of them is going to get to a Super Bowl eventually here, Carter.
Yeah, I would. If someone came to me and said, Carter, you got to bet your life existence on one of these two guys winning a Super Bowl, I would bet it. I would bet it happening. At some point, these Lamar playoff failures are going to stop. He's been too unfreaking believably good at the game of football. And to me, the Ravens were the best team in the NFL this year. Mark Andrews just played the worst game of his life. He gave the game away. That's how bad he was. And to me, the two best quarterbacks I saw in my eyes this year were these two gentlemen. They were the two best. And look, I would have preferred Joe Burrow to win the MVP. If we're going to talk about pure value to a team, I would say Jayden Daniels is more valuable to his team than those two guys. But I was perfectly fine with Lamar winning, Josh winning the award. But if I were to do a side-by-side comparison and I see Josh Allen is still not significantly more expensive, I would once again buy Lamar again.
Yeah, by Lamar, you're at the peak of, and I just added Saquon Barkley in that comparison. Saquon Barkley's based honors rated rookie is the same price as Lamar Jackson based honors rated rookie. Right. PSA 10 condition, pretty much the same price right now. Saquon's prices, I think, are going to come back down. So if someone's buying right now at these prices, I would absolutely consider selling it because I think there'll be nice opportunities in the future. That November, beginning of December time frame, very important observation to take away from this whole thing, guys, this whole season. And then you can buy in then and flip in a future playoff hype cycle there.
Yeah. Man, I'm trying to envision a world where the Chiefs don't go scorched earth next year. Worthy back, Rice back. Imagine if the Chiefs just trade everything up and they're like, F it, we're going to run the ball with Ashton Genty. We're going to trade up and go get the Ginster. I actually saw him at Super Bowl week. Not a big dude, right? He's not the biggest guy in the world. But I think he's going to be a monster. I really, really, really do. Now it's time for Hobby Tip of the Week. Andy, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I've got a case study to make an argument when you're buying into a deep sleeper to flip. It makes sense to pay up. It sounds a little risky to say pay $100 to $150 for a deep sleeper, but if you get there one of one for that price, I think it makes a lot of sense. And so my case study to make this argument is Jahan Dotson here. So let's take a quick peek at Jahan Dotson's latest solds. Base black prism, $2. That's not going to move. I think it's going to stay there for the rest of his career. But if you look at his one of one Panini Black that sold today in a buy it now several days removed from the Super Bowl, $300. And then you go back and look at the history of his one of one. Wow. This is a transaction I want to talk about that in a second. But let's look at the history of his one of one solds, including a PSA 10 Black Prism Finite 1/1, PSA 10 for $300. But if we look at something more comparable to what just sold, you have a Gold Standard Rookie Patch Auto, $300. But let's keep going to like when they were the cheapest, and you can actually see that you could have got some 1/1s very, very cheap. In fact, here's a 1/1 from XR for $64. That's a printing plate. But here's a 1/1 from no, that's out of 49 for 25. I'm trying to find the exact one I found earlier.
Yeah, but while you find it, Jahan Dotson went to Penn State. So obviously Penn State, their biggest crossover is with the Eagles, and goes to the team, catches one pass in the Super Bowl, caught obviously the first touchdown versus the Eagles. He's not that good. I mean, both touchdowns were kind of, schemed up. And he didn't catch a touchdown in the Super Bowl, but essentially he did. And look at what it's doing, man. Right.
Yeah, this was the card that I was like, this one you were probably able to sell for 300 at Super Bowl time. Obviously, 1/1s are hard to find, but when they come up in auction like this one happened to end on Christmas, which is typically a good day to snipe auctions because of the distractions of people. And this 1/1 from Select, nice patch, rookie auto, 1/1, rook card shield right on the front, $100 in auction. And so if you compare that 1/1 rookie auto, or even this one sold in the playoffs, a Contenders 1/1, to the one that just sold for 300, you can easily make a case to see why you were able to make double or triple what you were to bought in for Jahan Dotson 1/1s back in December. So I think it makes a lot of sense. If you're going to target these deep sleepers, use the same budget you would target like a Green Prism of Jaylen Hurts and buy the 1/1, buy the out of 5 card. And then Carter, I wanted to point out, this is a 2024 Prism 1/1, Jahan Dotson, the veteran card that sold yesterday, and I buy it now for $1,000. I was absolutely blown away. So like, I'm like, PSA 10 Black Finite 1/1, 390, or the veteran 1/1 from 2024 Prism for 1,000. What in the world? You know what I'm saying? So that card, if this person that bought on January 30th, the Jahan Dotson, should have been able to theoretically sell this card for at least twice, maybe 3 times as much as what they bought it for on January 30th, just, a week before the Super Bowl.
I would sell them now.
Yeah, you could still get that, right?
Right. Like,
but that's the power of the 1/1, man.
It is. You can name your price. I mean, look, Eagles don't mind having weak wide receiver 3s, and he was in the right place at the right time. I love it. And best of luck to you, Jahan. Ironically, I criticize him more than anybody else on Power Hour NFL. I didn't like the pick at the time, and man, he's in the right place at the right time. That's all that matters, baby. Now, my hobby tip of the week. I was going to say this, but we referenced it a little bit earlier. I was at Super Week, and I didn't get a chance to talk to the girl. She did a very I've seen her do this before. Dave and Adams, they go up to the athletes, and they have them rip a pack right in front of them. And she did it with Ashton Genty and a few other people. Players like cards. They think the cards are cool. Now, the thing that's interesting is there's guys like Trevor Lawrence who really do like football cards. Before Deshaun Watson, had his downfall, he collected a lot of his rare stuff. But, guys like baseball players love their cards. I mean, have you seen some of these? Like Corbin Carroll collects all his stuff. They trade game use bats. Obviously, Paul Skeens, wanting his stuff as well. I don't think football players have as much embraced that just yet. And I think that could create, another potential boom. So I found that to be interesting when I saw that. I was like, man, Ashton Genty really loved like ripping his pack of cards. The next thing I would bring up, Andy, is like Panini is still a player. Like, I know the whole thing is Fanatics Week, Fanatics. And I saw so much Panini sponsored stuff. Like, you see it at the Senior Bowl, you see it at the Super Bowl, you see it at the Bowl. I mean, it is everywhere.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, it looks like Panini wants to say, now I don't know what's going to happen in the future, obviously with licenses changing and all of that, but it is something. A few other things, Andy, is the A-list athletes, like the A-list athletes, more often than not are going to have an entourage around them. Okay, so if they're ever a D-bag to you, unless they're just like absolutely just brutally rude to you. Like, for instance, I wasn't able to talk to Jayden Daniels that much. We have a few mutual friends, but Andy, he had two sheriffs around him at all times. I mean, he's like, and rightfully so. You know, he's
big time.
I mean, he's the biggest young star in pro football right now. So understand that. Crazy week, and yeah, man, I'm super excited about football cards. Should be fun.
Yeah, a couple more. I'll share a couple more things here just upcoming. You've got a lot of product coming out. So we talked about the Topps Chrome, the 2024 Topps Chrome. This is going to blow these markets. And I'm going to go back to something that David Mills said earlier. Great longtime supporter. Shout out to David Mills over there. One of our biggest fans from overseas. And he pointed out that he is chasing the autos of the QBs and the other, Fanatics exclusive athletes from this set. And I think that's what your goal should be, is to target these athletes' autos that don't have Panini autos, target their autos in singles and auctions from the 2024 Topps Chrome set, but avoid pretty much everything else. And I wouldn't spend your money on the sealed product. This is going to be huge, but you could see the hobby boxes are sold out. So this is like a very popular breaking product just because of the autos that's going to be in there for Jayden and a lot of those top tier QBs that are all Fanatics exclusives.
Let's go to Clickbait's here. Clickbait's a YouTube member. He said, I pulled a Jayden Daniels Silver Prism and Orange Laser back to back from two blasters. Well, go buy yourself a lottery ticket now, my man. Should I hold the silver and wait till preseason hype to sell, maybe grades, or sell now?
Yeah, I would. Wow. I mean, congrats, man. That's
awesome.
Insane. And so, yeah, I love holding one, selling one. But I would get both of them graded. Just really would, because the graded versions of these cards are worth so much more, and he's such a hot player right now. I mean, he's got 1,500 on average cards selling per day in buy it now format, and people are paying these crazy prices. So if you can get them graded and get a PSA 10, it's just gonna multiply your profit by 300 to 500%, man. And so it's like, just grade them with PSA, maybe pay an extra $20. They come back 8 or 9s even, I crack them back out and sell them raw. But they come back at 10. Yeah, that's just you're just gonna multiply your profits there.
Yeah, I sold my Leaf Arizona State Jayden Daniels autos 250 consistently, and it's he's just that guy, Andy. I mean, did you see the Bleacher Report clip where he looked at every quarterback silhouette and got it like within 2 seconds?
Wow.
Y'all got to go see this. I mean,
I got to take that out.
This dude's football acumen is second to none. Work ethic, second to none. There's a lot of Mahomes qualities about Jayden. You just see it. You know it if you see it. So I know Tim saw it because Tim is a Jayden and Mahomes collector. So there you go. Roland says grade and sale at the start of the season. Dominic says grade both. Matthew makes an interesting point here. 2024 Prism is riddled with dimples.
That's Not shocking, not surprising. There's a lot of ultra modern sets like Mosaic for the past couple years have been riddled with dimples. And sometimes it seems that the dimples will come in batches, and then other times you'll get a box or a case, and it'll be pretty good quality, not as many dimples. So those are definitely though important to look at, and go Google what surface dimples look like. They can happen all over the grooves in the chrome finish on the front of the card, and those will take away from the grade and ultimately impact your chances of getting that coveted PSA 10.
FM 171, biggest super in a while, Andy. Let's go.
Hey, appreciate that, FM.
Okay. Oh, we're getting sexy. We are getting sexy right here. Let's go. The backup running back for the Jaguars, I pulled his black 1/1 Prism Disco Auto. I wanted to ask you guys what to do. Sell or hold, and how much would one sell for a PSA 9?
Yeah, absolutely hold, man. This guy is a favorite hold, like a target of mine this offseason. Incredible efficiency this past year, top 5 juke rate in the NFL, and played really, really well in the games without Travis Etienne.
Yeah.
And Travis Etienne is in a contract year. I don't think that they've taken his 5th-year option yet, Carter.
No, he's
so
he
no.
Good. Yeah, he wasn't good last year, so.
No, he wasn't good last year. Now you've got new coaching coming in, and they're going back and studying this roster, and they're like, Tank is a tank. You look at the games without ETN, and Tank was just shredding out there. So he had a couple games where he put up over 100 yards, multiple touchdowns. And so I loved holding Tank Bigsby to August, September. And PSA 9 would be the way to go. And obviously, I wouldn't sell that for less than $300 to $400. I mean, so I'd be holding it and looking to sell it for at least that much.
Yeah, look, Tank, this is a very interesting situation. You got an Auburn Tiger here. Ironically, Auburn, has not produced as many like NFL superstars as you would have thought. Obviously, Cam Newton comes to mind, but on the offense side of the football, is just not many. And Andy, Tank Bigsby in college was poetic, and he played on bad Auburn teams, bad offensive lines, hostile situations. And where does he get drafted to? The Jaguars. Bad offensive lines, hostile situations. Now he's going to get the best offensive coaching of his career, and this is going to be the big thing on Tank Bigsby, FM 171, is he a Liam Cohen type of back? So over the last 3 years, Andy, this is where it could get exciting when you're talking about Tank Bigsby. The Jaguars have actually been amongst the lowest in the NFL throwing to their running backs out of the backfield. All right. Guess who is consistently the highest? Liam Cohen offenses, right? Bucks were second in running back receptions, second in running back yards, third in running back efficiency when throwing to the running backs out of the backfield, right? And Liam Cohen schemes up running back passes better than anyone. So this is a two-sided situation. Tank Bigsby's had issues catching the football out of the backfield, in particular his rookie season with Trevor Lawrence. But if he can just catch, right, Liam schemes things so wide open for his running backs out of the backfield, there is a nuclear option potentially with Tank going into next year. So I'm really excited with Liam. He really does extract a lot of value out of his running backs. You look at Ray Davis, right? Ray Davis led the SEC in receptions under Liam Cohen, and you see what he did this first year with Josh Allen. It's pretty good. So he's a good running back developer as well. So I'm really excited for Tank in this offense next year, especially if they say, look, we don't want anything to do with ETN anymore.
Yeah, and after just look, I just found a sold of a select 1/1 up here. That was it. Oh no, excuse me. It was the Mosaic 1/1 up here that sold for what was it, like $300. So
Let's go.
Or no, excuse me, 450. Wow.
Go.
Yeah, Mosaic rookie scripts 1/1 Tank Bigsby on December 27th sold for 450 in auction. Prism is a much better set than Mosaic, and I would not be selling your card in less than $500. That would be my minimum going
Right.
rate for you now
Yeah.
on that card.
Get greedy, and I would be eyeing it at 500, and if somebody wants to give me 425 off a recent comp, then I would probably take that, especially if you pulled it. That's the thing, Andy. If you pull it, you're getting it in theory at its lowest value. But if you do pull it, you have a connection to the card. It's your card. The card was meant for you. Do you overly connect with cards that you pull, Andy?
Yeah, I mean, in a way, but at the same time, I've never, at least in football cards, I've not had the best of luck. So I've never pulled something that I was really connected to. Yeah, so it's hard for me to really comment on that until I get lucky.
Yeah, I am the opposite of backyard breaks. You can call me front yard breaks, man. I pull bricks. I pull freaking paper holders. That's what paperweights. That's my job. James said,
Carter,
no, go on.
Carter, I want to talk about the upcoming free agency cycle. So next hype cycle, guys, get ready. In the next month, you're going to start to see the big free agents start to move. One of the first dominoes could be Myles Garrett. I want to do a little case study here on Myles Garrett. Ask you if you think he's washed, if you think he lands on a big market team. But let's look at his prices back in November. You know, Browns below 500 season, very bad season for the Browns. Myles Garrett, though, still playing at a fairly elite level if you look at his numbers. Carter, I know you studied the film. These cards were red, white, and blue prism. So it's a fairly, mid-tier card for his market, $15, $27. Now, as you can see, there was some crazy one there, but most recently, yesterday, we had a $63 buy it now on that same exact card. Ooh. So just from the speculation of him being traded, we've already seen the prices increase significantly. And I'm wondering, they could spike further just because his scarcity level is high. It's like that of TJ Watt from 2017.
And obviously, we talked about earlier, Patrick Mahomes. Where do you think this is ending up? I mean, Buffalo? It's like the most heavily rumored place. I'm also interested to see if he takes less or if he's willing to, take a severe cut to go to a winning team. Man, I would love to see him on the Bills. That would be crazy, especially if you're getting a red, white, and blue card here.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just scratching the surface for Myles Garrett. So obviously he's got a decent. I mean, he's got good draft capital, so he's got a decent amount of cards from 2017. As you can see, the premium focus is still on Prism. There's a orange, and this is the only. I think the only bad thing about his move here is that the Browns, uniforms, the colors are likely going to clash with a lot of teams that he lands on. So there lies a new chase for his market, and that's going to be his veteran cards after he moves.
$321 for that card just seems insanely low. That's just such a sick card.
It is, but for a lot of players, it's not. It's a common card. It's not that rare, So, but for Myles Garrett, and this is why you have to look at every player's market individually. It's pretty rare. It's pretty rare, and it is like the premium card. He doesn't even have a rated rookie logo on his optic. It's up there. It's up. I would consider it, one of his higher end cards.
Yeah, and he is pretty close to a Canton lock. DPOY 6 or 7 Pro Bowls. So if that is something that matters to you, collecting Hall of Famers, well, there you go. 29.
Carter, real quick, would you rather have the orange Prism PSA 10 for $400 or would you rather have the silver prism with an event signed auto, all graded authentic? It's the card itself is not graded, but the auto is graded a 10 here for 400.
The orange paint pen, I actually do like the way that looks. I would go the orange paint pen.
Well, you got to pay 500 for that one, but we get extra 100.
Yeah, I would. That orange paint pen is just absolutely sick. But then again, I'm not a fan of Myles Garrett in the least. Texas A&M Browns, I could do without. But the Commanders make a lot of sense. So if he goes there, then I'll probably be buying some of his cards. But there you go. Now it's time for play of the week. I'll let you go first, brother.
Yeah. So looking at these landing spots here, I'm looking at Vegas odds on these landing spots, and looks like Carson Wentz is on the move. He's he's a veteran presence in the league that is I guess you could consider like one of those deep sleeper veteran quarterback presence. I think we talked about him a few weeks ago back in the playoff time period. You just get his cards dirt cheap. He is going to be on the move this offseason. And he could land on a team like the Raiders, for example, at plus 400 odds, and could actually emerge as a starter on the Raiders in 2025. That could be interesting. That could be really interesting for his hype. I could see his prices going up a lot based on where they're currently at. He's also part of that. No, he's 2016. He's part of that 2016, which is a very similar market to 2017, to be honest.
Andy, I actually gave Carson Wentz out a few weeks ago. He looked bad in that game versus the Broncos, but I mean that game they didn't play a single soul, the Chiefs, and their game plan was just nothing. So yeah, sure, let's go Carson Wentz. Andy, I one guy in clickbait's kind of took him. Matthew Stafford potentially on the move. Do you see where his landing spot could be?
Well, I know Cooper Kupp's on the move. And I would maybe the Steelers?
The Giants.
The Giants, okay.
Apparently he has family that's with that organization. Yeah, Malik Neighbors to throw the football to.
Oh my God, that would be insane.
Brian Daboll. I want everyone to know this. Brian Daboll is respected behind closed doors. Now, I'm not sure if he's head coach material. I think he's more of a coordinator. But this whole play calling stuff with Kafka, it's been weird. But people like his offense. They do. So Stafford is interesting. It's very, very, very interesting.
Well, I'll tell you, I like that 2009 market. There's some fun cards to target. I highlight, like, check out the Topps Finest. Wonderful card. Talk about dimples. It's kind of like the surface is made to look like a pigskin. So
right,
really cool card. The 2009 Bowman Chrome is also really nice. The Topps Finest is nice. Yeah, there's the Bowman Chrome. This is another one of his iconic cards. PSA 9 condition right now, selling for $95. So there is definitely some grade chasing involved in Matthew Stafford's market from 2009. Cards are a lot older. So it definitely allows you to target more base cards, but that are in good condition. And so he's a guy you may be able to find at shows that dealers have been holding on to, like shows that are going down here early February, mid-February. And he's going to see a spike, even though he's a veteran. He is a Super Bowl winning veteran and still playing at a high level. So you're going to see a spike if he lands on a team like the Giants because of the size of the fan base. And I think that's a really solid play, Carter. And you could probably get into something like a Bowman Chrome PSA 10 for about $100, or maybe you can find a really nice condition raw one. That's the reason why I bring up the show, because you can really grade it with your own eyes at a show, and make that offer. Maybe get yourself a nice little deal on a card that's been sitting with the dealer for years.
Travis going deep, saying Stetson Bennett. What?
Don't they have Jimmy G on the roster too? I mean,
yeah.
I don't even know. Stetson's a lock to play, but he's interesting just from that fact of FOMO. If he does get a start, he does look good in that initial start, people are going to treat him like a rookie, So it makes sense to have a little bit of exposure and diversify. His cards are very cheap as well. So I like the theory behind why you would want to have a couple Stetson Bennett stashed.
One guy I've been asked about a lot is Trevor Lawrence. God, he just looks so bad. When he actually played, he just looked so bad last year. But once again, best offensive coaching since his Clemson days. A QB-friendly offense should be interesting.
This may be the comeback year for Trevor Lawrence.
Could be. Look, name one number one overall quarterback that stinks. There are quite a few that have a resurgence at some point. And, you should factor that in with Caleb Williams. We saw what happened with Bryce Young. We saw what happened with Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff. So even if they don't light the world on fire early, it eventually does potentially turn into something.
Great play, Carter. I mean, his rookie ticket autos, which are, I think, a sweet spot for Trevor Lawrence. So he's got a lot of cards, a lot of poor grade rates on his more common cards. Rookie ticket autos around $200 graded. That's a very, very good price. Very good price for number one overall pick. Definitely in that buy category right now.
All right, Andy, before we skedaddle, are there any topics or any of our lovely comments you would like to get to? I see Hector in here. Noi. Lots of legends. Got a few supers. Love to see it, man. I really do.
Yeah, no, I really love to see it. Really appreciate everybody's support. I'm glad you had a good time at the Super Bowl experience last week, Carter. I'm in the works of making a top 10 video for tips, just learning lessons from this past season with case studies. And so stay tuned for that, guys. I'm working on that. Just been very busy with the day job and family priorities. So, but it is coming out, and I appreciate all you guys' continued support. And thank you for tuning in today.
Let's go. All right, y'all. We will see you next week. His name is Andy. My name is Carter. If you want to connect with me on social media, at Carter the Power. And Andy, I do have one spicy take at the end. All right. So my good guy, Tim O, watches all of my Power Hour NFL videos. All right. There is one conspiracy that I have as to why Mahomes did not play well in the Super Bowl. Okay. And I like, Andy, have you ever seen Patrick Mahomes play that bad?
It's been not in the playoffs. That's for sure.
No. It's just something that you just don't normally associate with him. So I'll link it right here. It's at the end of this video. I broke down every single Chiefs offensive play, and it's over an hour long. So if you just want to fast forward to the end and see what I think happened, go right on ahead. But check it out, Power Hour NFL, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.
Peace.